So this is still lesson 1-3 distance and midpoint, but we are going to take a look at the problems that we didn't do from day 1, and that is more with our midpoint. We're still going to be reviewing distance on your homework assignment and continuing that practice because it's very important. Midpoint, we want to add our x values, so our x1 and our x2, and divide by 2. And then we want to add our y values and divide by 2. Okay, and that gives us our ordered pair. So we're going to add our x's, so we're not doing the difference this time with distance, we are adding. So 8 plus negative 14 divided by 2. And then we are taking negative 6 plus 12 and dividing it by 2. So 8 and 14 there. The difference of that here, because it's negative, is going to give us negative 6. And then negative 6 divided by 2 is going to give us negative 3. So that's our first part of our ordered pair. Negative 6 and 12, that is 6. 6 divided by 2 is positive 3. So our midpoint for GH is negative 3, 3. So go ahead and try B on your own and check when you're ready. And hopefully you got negative 5, negative 3 for your midpoint. Now, what happens when we are trying to find the missing endpoint of B? So B is our missing endpoint if B is the midpoint of AC. So I like to kind of draw a little picture, and we have AC and we have B is the midpoint, so ABC. So they're giving us the A and they're giving us the midpoint. This one is the midpoint right here. We want to find the other endpoint. So how do we do that? Well, basically, this right here being an endpoint, we know that negative 8 plus an x divided by 2 is going to be equaling our midpoint x. And we know that our midpoint y is equaling our y plus our endpoint value of y divided by 2. So it's kind of like we're solving backwards on these. So we're taking and we're multiplying by 2. And then we are adding 8. So our x-coordinate of our endpoint that we're missing for point C is going to be negative 2. Now we do the same thing for our y value. Take it times 2. So 20 equals 6 plus y, so subtract 6, and we get 14. So there is our endpoint C that we were missing. What does that look like in the coordinate plane? It's actually much easier to do it in the coordinate plane. So let's take a look at that. We have B and C, now we need to find A. So let's go ahead and plot those points. Negative 1, 3 is B, and then 5, and then 6 is C, okay? So now we're going to go ahead and let's go ahead and draw this half of our line. And we want to recreate this same, and I'm going to call it the slope, going in this direction to find our point A. We know it's somewhere in here. So let's go ahead and see, well, how far down and how far over are we going from B to C? Because that same thing is going to repeat because this is exactly the same length, BC, as it's going to be from A to B and the same direction. Okay, so going down, it looks like we're going down 3 and we're going over 6. So we're going to repeat that same kind of slope pattern, going down 3 and over 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we find our point right here, which would be point A. So here is our line AC, with midpoint B. And so A is at point, and that is at, looks like -7. Yep, -7, 0 for point A. So a little bit easier sometimes to do it in the graph than algebraically, but you have both options.